What's up, everybody? This is DinoSasha here, and welcome back to another review. And today we're gonna take a look at the figure. It is the Schleich 2012 Carnotaurus. Now, Carnotaurus, which means meat-eating bull, is a genus of the theropod dinosaur that lives in the late Cretaceous period, about 71 to 69 million years ago, what is known as South America. Now, the length is only about 7.5 to 8 meters, 24.6 to 26.2 feet in length, and weight is about 1.35 metric tons, or 1.33 long tons and 1.49 short tons. Now, this theropod has small arms compared to the other theropods, and also its distinctive has two horns, and because of named meat-eating bull, because it has horns protruding its head. Now, consider that they belong in the Belosaurid family, which is the descent families of the what it seems theropods. They're carnivores and they may eat meat. And also they live on other side with the other creatures, such as the Argentinosaurus and other particular theropods. But the most closest relative is the Archosaurus. And since Carnotaurus lives in the tropical grasslands, they hunt them in large groups called packs. Only the alpha could have won the meal. Now, before that, let's look about the sculpt. The sculpt is a really nice of this figure. This is the really absolutely great sculpt, but I don't like when it falls. If you don't know what a falls is, this is really good design of it. Well, this is an exception when it seems like it's a dinosaur, and I believe the Carnotaurus is one of my favorite dinosaurs, apart from a Acrocanthosaurus. And yes, I know the Carnotaurus is one of my favorites because this is a really classic. And yeah, I thought about sometimes this theropod looks a bit nice to me. And yeah, I believe or not, this is a really excruciating theropod, and I believe it's a really distinctive with. And yes, let's talk about the pose. And the pose, which is a really accepted pose, and it's falls completely. If you know, I've tried carpet or without, but it falls like no problem with it. Yeah, I needed to stand as well as you think the theropod figure looks like it was completely fall. And yeah, I think, believe it or not, when I tried it, everything seems like it was failure. Well, to believe it or not, I needed something like a stancher who would help. Well, I don't know, maybe it could have sometimes, which is the pose, or just standing pose, if I stand. And yeah, that could have resulted. And the details are smooth, and not exactly, but this is a really congruent design of it, but this is a really accepted to know about the pose. And I believe it or not, this is a really extended figure for sometimes, but I believe it or not, this is really nice. But I like the details. It is really great. Now, I like the design. My favorite is the sculpt with the color scheme. It looks reddish and has a white articulation and an orange mouth and blue eyes, and it's named Cyan Eyes after the game of the name of the dinosaur island. And believe it or not, this is a really nice figure for sometimes. But believe it or not, it's an intriguing figure. But I believe that my favorite color is red because the color is amazing. Mwah. Animated for much is why looks amazing for the theropod. And I believe it, this is a really cool design of the dinosaur. And yeah, so I love this dinosaur because, don't forget the tongue, it painted well. Now, I wanted to mention something. It's that the accuracy looks like a bit of a Disney dinosaur. Because the Disney dinosaur has revealed that Carnotaurus is the main villain of this movie. Because it will attempt to kill Aladar and his friends. Well, and his fellas over here. Well, I think Carnotaurus is one of the greatest dinosaurs that I love. Well, for sometimes, I think I like this dinosaur for the first time. Well, you know what? I'm gonna bring up a ruler, so let's give this a measure. So it turns out from the length from the tip of the snout, always tip of the tail, we're reaching only at about, sometimes at 9 inches, and which is the only at about, okay, close enough. Oh, yes, 22 centimeters. And the height, which is the top of the tail, we're looking at about sometimes at 3.10 inches, which is 4 to 10 inches, and which is only at about 10.5 centimeters. For comparison, I'm gonna bring up some Schleich favorites. So here is with the most iconic dinosaur. I'm gonna stand the dinosaur up. Okay, hold on a second. There, much better. Here is with the Schleich 2021 Ceratosaurus, which is the another dinosaur which is part of the Schleich trio. And the Baryonyx, which is I have this dinosaur for a while. And for the last comparison, we're gonna bring up the previous review, a Safari LTD 2019 Carnotaurus. Basically the Safari Limited for sometimes. I think these two were the same figures, so I believe it or not, this is a really acceptable for this creature to combine with. And yes, for the final rating, I'll give it 10 out of 10 because this is my favorite dinosaur, and I give bottom of my heart because of this design of the dinosaur. And yes, basically the Carnotaurus basically 5 of my favorite trio. You know, Schleich trio, my favorite part. And you know, people must review it because it's amazing. And others think that it's like a reference to a Disney dinosaur. And believe it or not, I think I agree with this. I think it's a really amazing figure, and both that, I'm gonna put on a Schleich trio. If I put it on a sanctuary, and I'm gonna put it a Ceratosaurus over here, and put it a logo in the background, so to make it look like a real creative channel. Well, that sort of thing. And there you go. Mostly that, the Schleich trio, my favorite. And yeah, I believe it or not, this is a consistent Schleich trio, basically named as the Carnotaurus, Ceratosaurus, and the Baryonyx. And believe it, I would just name these characters. Well, I just referred that this is a very concern that the Baryonyx is part of the larger group with its large jaw, and for the Ceratosaurus, also the equal jaw. And for the Carno, is as the same jaw. Well, the part of the articulated jaws, but I really enjoyed it because of that. And don't forget to put it on the Safari Carno because this is a really nice figure for me. And yes, it's a reunion of family and friends. Well, I named the Carnotaurus Seth and Ceratosaurus Deathclaw, and the Baryonyx Ramsey. Well, Randall. I just gonna say Bloodclaw, Seth, and Randall. Yeah, because, see, they're a part of the trio. And for the next review, and I like the trio, especially the Safari Carno. And the next review will be on a Utaceratops, and that will be talk about. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications. And leave a comment below if you agree on the video. And I will see you for another review about the Collecte Utaceratops. Goodbye, everyone, and see you all next time.